Hello everybody, it is TheSpazDevil here and welcome to the first video of 2024. Now I was really hoping that the first video of 2024 would actually be the first episode of my brand new series I've made, The Road to Max. I'm going to drop it at 500 subscribers. So listen, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We need like 80 more and I'm going to drop an amazing series on you. You guys are going to love it. I've put so much effort into it. With that said, I was asking myself, what video should I do next? And then it actually hit me. You can't be a RuneScape content creator without at least doing one Barrows guide. So, although there's loads of them out there, I decided to make the best Barrows guide that I could possibly make for you. So, this is my absolutely no bullshit approach to Barrows. I'm going to give you the correct way to do it. I don't care what anyone says. This is seriously the only video you're ever going to need to watch on Barrows, so let's jump in and explain everything. This minigame takes you to everybody's least favourite region in the goddamn game, which is Mortania. It sees you killing 6 demi-bosses and then looting a chest at the end. These bosses include Darok, Guthans, Carol, Torag, Varak and Arim. Of these 6 brothers, 4 of them will attack you with melee, 1 of them will attack you with range, and 1 of them will attack you with mage. And it doesn't fucking matter because none of them are going to hit you, except for Varak because he's a bastard. The first thing we're going to do is talk about the gear setup, what you need to bring with you, how the minigame works, and then we'll talk about what you can expect to get here, what kind of money you can make an hour, is it worth doing, and all of that jazz. First and foremost, do not worry. I know that I've got some relatively high level gear here, but trust me, you can do this minigame boss, whatever you want to call it, with a range of different gear. One thing about the Barrows is the higher level you have, the better gear that you have, the less supplies you need to bring with you, and the more brain dead that this gets. But you can do this from a very early level indeed. The first thing I want to touch on is the weapon. Now, I would say, and I think most people would agree with me, that charged staffs are the best. We are going to kill every boss with magic. I do not want to see any of you in the comments going, but you need to bring a switch for Arim's and his magic defense. They don't have magic defense. They get absolutely slapped by fucking everything. So anyway, in terms of the weapon that you're going to bring with, I'm using a Sang staff because it passively heals you. If you don't have that, use either an Iban staff, a warp scepter, a trident of the seas, or use the best thing that you have. But these are the main weapons that I would bring with. Just use the best one that you can afford and you'll be fine. The exact same goes for the armor setup. We are going to use just a magic setup. I promise you, you'll be absolutely fine. Now, I am using Virtus here, but if you want to use Mystic or Bloodbark or whatever your best in slot magic gear is, just bring that and you will be absolutely fine. For the cape slot, it's the same story. If you've got a god cape, cool. If you've got an imbued god cape, super. But if you don't have that, just bring whatever your best in slot magic cape might be. In the boot slot, I'm wearing Eternal boots because they are the best in slot magic boots. But again, bring whatever your best magic boots are. In terms of the glove slot, bring the best that you can. Whether it be Barrows gloves, whether it be just Mystic gloves, bring whatever your best magic gloves are. For the ring slot, I'm using a Ring of the Gods imbued because it gives a massive prayer bonus, and it means that I actually don't need to bring a single prayer potion with me to do as many kills as I want. I'll explain in a minute how this all works. If you can't afford that, because this is quite a low-level activity, this is, you know, sort of everyone's first boss type thing, then just bring with you maybe a Sears ring or whatever it is that you want to bring for the ring slot, just bring it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. In the shield slot, there is an item you can acquire called a Gommel's Hilt. Now, Gommel's Hilt is acquired by doing combat tasks and speaking to Gommel, who is outside of the Warriors Guild. If you equip the Gommel's Hilt, you will not get prayer drain when inside the Barrows, because while you're actually inside the crypts, you have this effect where your prayer randomly gets drained, okay? If you have this equipped, you will not have the prayer drain. I can't stress how easy it is to get this item. I don't even have a particularly high level one. I've got loads of them that I still need to claim from the Warriors Guild, but I'm planning on doing a video where I just smash through as many combat tasks as I can, so look forward to that in a future video. If you don't have this yet, or you're too lazy, then just bring whatever you want in the shield slot. It honestly doesn't matter, but you should really get some combat tasks done just so you have this. Otherwise, you might need to bring 1 or 2 prayer potions, but it's not going to be the end of the world. In the ammo slot, just bring a blessing. I'm using a Rada's blessing that you get from doing the achievement diaries, but honestly, any blessing that you get from the Grand Exchange, Holy Blessing, whatever, is going to be great. And in the next slot, it's more of the same. I'm using an occult necklace. It's the best in slot. If you don't have that, use a Fury. If you don't have that, just bring an Amulet of Glory. Whatever your best in slot necklace is. Moving over to your inventory, bring with you 1 melee weapon. This is just to kill the creatures inside the crypt. Again, we'll talk about everything, so don't worry. I'm using a fang just because I don't have a whip. You can bring a whip or a dragon scimitar. Just bring 1 melee weapon with you. Again, you know what I'm going to say. Whatever the best one you have is in the bank, just bring it with you. Next, you're going to need a spade so that you can actually get into the Barrows mounds. In terms of your teleportation method, the best way to do it is to have a house teleport, have a portal in there that can take you directly to the Barrows, use a rejuvenation pool and jump straight in. I understand not everybody at this point is going to have that. So instead, you can just bring with you Barrows teleports. They are cheap as anything. They're like 2k each. And bring some Carol teleports. That way, you can click the Barrows teleport to go straight to Barrows, the Carol teleport to go straight back to the bank. So you have a really easy way of getting here. I'd also recommend bringing a rune pouch because you can stick some of the drops that you get in there. A lot of them are runes, so you're going to put them into your rune pouch. And if you don't have a staff that heals you, you can use the ancient spell book, and you can actually use blood spells and manual cast them on the creatures inside the crypt to get any health back in case you need to do that. So again, that is literally everything you need to bring with you. If you are lower level and you've found yourself running through prayer or you need food, well, guess what? Bring a couple of prayer potions with you, bring food with you, restock in between every one of your trips, and then just figure out as you go how much stuff you need to bring with you. It's different for everyone. This is so open that everyone does it very differently, but this is literally all I need to take with me to do a full trip. Alright, so this is where the Barrows is located. There is a fairy ring nearby. There is a rowboat that will take you through the Mort Mire swamp. But honestly, this is completely irrelevant and redundant because you should just be using, until you get a player-owned house with a teleport built in, just use the Barrows teleport tablets. They're like 2000 GP of the Grand Exchange, and combine that with the Carol teleports, which will take you to Canifis right in front of where the bank is. So I would just use this method just to make it easy for you. You're going to cover the costs of everything with all the trips you do, and then the items and uniques you're going to get are where the real money is going to be. Alright, so I'm going to start this Barrows trip from my player-owned house. I'm going to use my portal nexus, takes me directly to Barrows. I'm going to run over this first mound where we will find a Darrock. Just click your spade, dig inside, put protect from melee on, and slap the shit out of him. He will go down incredibly easily because these guys have extremely little magic defense. When that is done, I'm going to run over to Guthan. I'm going to wake him up from his crypt, and again, protect from melee. All the melee brothers just protect from melee, slap the shit out of them, and then we're going to move over to Carol. You can see on the RuneLight plugin, we can actually track every brother we have killed, as well as the potential that you will need in order to loot the chest at the end. So again, Carol goes down like a sack of shit. Don't need any switches. Just use protect from range and deal with him and get him out of there. The next brother is going to be a melee brother. He is going to be Torag. Again, protect from melee. Get rid of him. Goes down like an absolute sack of shit. And then I'm going to go back up out of the crypt and move over to Arim. Now, when we actually try and wake Arim up, you will see that we get a message saying there's a tunnel, do you want to enter? That's because the final brother is going to be waiting for us inside the tunnel, and it will be random every time which one this is. Let's go over to Varak. Now, this is the bastard that will hit you through prayer. So again, put protect from melee on. Every now and then he has a special effect that will hit you through prayer. Just kill him, dispatch of him. If you need to heal up, I've got the Sang staff, so I'm going to heal up no problem. If you want to use, for example, even an Amulet of Blood Fury inside the crypt to kill a few monsters with, or you want to use some ancient magic inside the crypt just to cast a few spells to get your health back, you'll get your health back. You're going to take very, very little damage doing the Barrows. It's a really easy minigame. Once you've dispatched of Varak, let's go back over to Arim, the brother that was missing. We're going to enter into the crypt, and you're going to look for a door, which is a slightly different colour to the rest. And looking around the actual barrows, you can see which of the doors are a different color, so you know your access point into the chest in the middle. You can, at this point, I would like to mention, use something called a strange old lockpick, and that will let you get through any of the doors down here, so you don't need to work your way through the maze. Now, a strange old lockpick goes anywhere from 80 to 100k for 50 uses. Now, while that doesn't seem like a lot, to be honest with you, it works out at like 1.5 GP per use, 1.5k per use. I just don't bother because it's just so easy to get through here that you just don't need it unless you're super speed running it. Now, I just want to quickly talk about the loot potential. So every Barrows brother that you actually kill before looting the chest will add their unique drop table into the chest. Killing the monsters down here will also increase your loot potential. Now, you have a potential percentage on the side. Now, you would think getting this to 100% will guarantee you 100% of the drops. And while that is true, you only need to get to 88% to have the maximum GP per hour here. 88% will essentially give you maximum blood runes and the best rune drops that you can get. If you go over 88%, you add bolt racks and half key pieces into the mix, and they are not worth it. You're actually better off not getting those drops and having them replaced with the runes instead. So if you want to maximize on profit per hour and make it a bit quicker, you want to get to about 78% potential, then kill the final brother, and then loot the chest. That is the correct way to do it according to a lot of the nerds out there. When you click the final door, there is a small puzzle that pops up. The RuneLite plugin will tell you exactly what it is. Now, if you have not encountered the final brother at this point, when you open the final chest in the middle, it will actually spawn the final brother. Just make sure that you kill him before you loot the chest, because the drop will roll when you actually loot the chest, not when you open it. So again, if you don't encounter the brother while you're running through the doors, just go ahead and open the chest and then he will pop out. Just slap the shit out of him. As you can see, I've not used any switches. He is a little bit tankier because obviously he is a mage and he is more resilient to magic, but he still goes down easily because their magic defense is really, really low. Again, loot the chest. We got fuck all from that. But in a nutshell, that's exactly how to do Barrows. It's really, really simple. Now, the main drops that you're going to want to get really are the Arim's robe top, which goes for about 3.9 million. The Arim's robe skirt, which goes for about 2.5 million, I believe. And the Carol's leather top, which goes for about 1.8 million. Everything else on the list, other than maybe the Darrock's plate body and the Darrock's great axe, is really not worth a lot of money. But there you go. That's how to do Barrows. Good luck with your grind. I hope you get all the drops that you want and you green log it as soon as possible. My name is TheSpazDevil, and I will see you on the next one.